Cool. So I'm going to get my screen up here now. There we go. So I was just telling Carol earlier, I'd done a ton of these lunch and learns for the chamber, I guess, but at that time, the Board of Trade, the chamber. And I do a lot of my training and coaching on Zoom, but this is my first with a public group. So bear with me if I make any daft mistakes. Okay, just a quick history. I'm not going to go on about myself at all. Started the business in 1999, joined Profiles International in 2000. John Wiley Group purchased Profiles in 2014, which allowed us to join the Everything Disc Training Group. So we do a lot of everything disc training. The marketing makeover program was in association with Leadership Publishing Worldwide. It's 1,000, we're over 1,000 independent people just like myself in 44 countries. It's a Canadian-based company based out of Kelowna, BC. So, and they provide me with some amazing materials that help small companies and medium companies and even some large companies. And this year, through them, we've started a profit acceleration software program, which I'll show you a little bit about in the end. So there are only 4 ways to grow any business. And through looking at it, we used to always do this in 3 ways, and we jumped it up to 4. And there, we could get into a discussion and collect 62 different ways, but and a lot of the things you do need to do, like advertising, and many things like that to grow your business. These are the only 4 things that, when you add it up, if you concentrate on these 4 things, they're going to grow your business. And first one is get more customers. That sounds simple, but it's all about your lead generation and what you're doing to marketing your company. Now, some people have a budget to do that. Others, right now there are some inexpensive ways to market your company, but it's really, I hear people say, well, we do all our business by word of mouth. And while that's a great way and an inexpensive way to do it, if you're getting all your growth from word of mouth, you're not growing as fast as you could be. The next one is to sell them larger orders. When they come into your store, when you visit their place of business, whatever it may be, whatever you can do to tap them out to, add items to the order. And we're going to look at a couple of tips to do that too. So, third one is to get them to buy more often. So have them come into your store, twice a month rather than once a month, or 6 times a year rather than 3, or whatever the case may be. Or if you're in outside sales, you're visiting them. And the 4th one is raise your prices. Now, a lot of people are scared of this one. But if you look at it, a small increase in price can do so much for your margin and not affect your customers. As a matter of fact, in our software, we can even show you how many customers you could afford to lose by raising your prices by 5%. And you're never going to lose a third of your customers because you raise your prices by 5%. And so, I mean, depends on the competitive nature of your product or whatever it may be. Think about the day that the founders of were starting up with Starbucks, and they were going to sell a $5 cup of coffee. At that time, coffee sold for 50 cents a cup, and so you can imagine, the dashness of them to do that. But hey, they seem to be doing so pretty well in that. So now, not every business can do all 4 of these. If I'm selling, well, Donna, you hit the nail on the head. If I'm selling grave sites, I don't think I can sell you more often. And, I can get more customers. I can sell them a larger product offering, and I can raise my prices, but I sure as hell aren't going to sell them another one. So every business has to look and say, and we have lots of businesses say, okay, I'm going to concentrate 100% on just getting larger orders from the customers I have. Some people, I have one customer, all he did was raise his prices and increased his prices by 50%. and his business didn't change an iota. Now he was selling a little bit, his price is a little bit low, and so he's doing the same amount of business as he was before. He's just making twice as much money, and these are all tricks and ideas we can talk about. Here is for retailers one of the best little strategies, I think. So let's say, for example, I know a little bit about the clothing business. Let's say you're working at a 50% margin. So Kate, why don't you open up here? I'm going to ask you a question. You're a great example of this.
Oh Lord, here we go.
When someone comes into your store, what's the average amount of items they buy?
I'd say 2.
2? Okay. So when they leave, are they coming back to buy their next item for you, or could they be going to your competitor?
Well, I hope they're coming back to me.
And I didn't ask you if you hoped.
It really depends.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's different. So what if you use this strategy? So you get a fish bowl or cup, or a large bowl, and you put a bunch of pieces of paper in there with all 25% discount on them. And when they are finished with their purchase, their two items or their 3 items, you say, we've got a special here for you today. You can draw out here, and there's discounts anywhere from 5 to 25%. And if you draw, you don't have to make a commitment to buy beforehand, but you can draw it out now, and you can buy as much as you want at whatever the number comes in. Think that would work?
It could. We tend to not do discounts, but
Right.
it definitely could work.
Yeah, because depends if your customers are loyal, faithful, and they're buying 90% of their goods from you, it's that. But if you have someone come in from out of town, cruise ship possibles would be to say, because guess how many the slips inside of the fishbowl have 25% discount?
1?
Nope.
None?
All of them.
None. Okay.
At 5%, they might not buy anything. But at 25, they might buy 3 or 4 extra items, or even 1 extra item, and it's driving your sales up because they've already come to your store. Now,
that my margin's down.
What?
But
Not
that drives
really.
my margins down.
Only if you're sure they're coming back to you. But you look at it this way. Let's say, I'm just going to use it roughly, that your margin is 50%, and so you're giving 25. You're giving half of the margin away.
Mhm.
But if you sell 3 other items, what's that doing for overall profit that day on that sale? Your margin percentage is down, but the dollars put in your cash register higher. Now, this only works if you have unlimited supplies.
Mhm.
In other words, you don't want to be doing this if stuff is hard to get and hard to replace. So it works a little different in businesses, every one. But the idea of it is, and you just keep this fishbowl under the counter and use it when you want. I mean, if you have someone comes in and they're here visiting from Halifax,
Mhm.
then this strategy works for you. If it's locally, not so much. And
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just an idea for companies that grows their sales. Yes, it cuts down your percentage margin, but you're selling more items. And you could even, if you wanted to, you say you never discount?
No, we do. It's usually like seasonal.
Right, exactly. So
Down.
what you could do, you could even do it and say, okay, you can get 25% off, or whatever you fix out. This group of this rack over here qualifies for the 25 for the discount that you get. They don't know it's 25.
Yep.
You could do it, use it that way. So anyway, thank you for your thoughts.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay. So one of the things that as we work with our companies is, how is your product and service offering different from your competitors? What is your market dominating position? And we can do this for any company, and as long as you're willing to do the work and make sure that all your people are involved in it. So in looking at your marketing makeover, I have 10 questions here that you need to ask. What marketing materials do you have to promote your business? What marketing mediums do you use? Would you describe these market meetings effective in reaching your core market? And this is really, really important. Like, I'm going to talk a little bit about radio ads a little later, which can work in any ads. Is what are you saying in your ads that's different from your customers that be effective? You know, like the radio station will tell you you should buy 10 ads per day to be really heard. But what if you said the right things in 2 ads? Do you have a website? How many clients do you have in your database? And I hope you have a database, and that because your Facebook advertising can work, but if you have email campaigns going to your customers that you know are your customers when something's going on, be an event, new product comes in, whatever the case may be, that is your best customer. And what's the most profitable aspect of your business? What is your average sales value per transaction? So when we come back about talking about selling larger orders, you need to know what the size of your order is now. What is your average gross profit per transaction? And how many inquiries do you get a day, week, and a month? And to know if your marketing is working. So these 10 questions can help you map out your financial impact. And so what is your market dominating position? So, anybody want to give this a try? Nobody? Okay. Jake, what's your market dominating position?
No clue.
No clue?
No.
Okay.
Corey might know, but I unfortunately don't know.
Okay. Tina.
I'm just new in this position, so I'm just learning.
Okay. Okay, cool. Adam.
Like, what do we use most? I guess, was that what you're asking?
Yeah, what do you say your market dominating position is?
We do more social media than our competitors do, so that's our focus.
Okay, I'll describe this a little further then.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, pizza delivered in 30 minutes or it's free. Now, most Canadians say that was created by Greco, but it was actually created by Domino's. And so when they started that, they targeted universities back in the 70s when everybody was smoking weed, and they got hungry. So they put their locations were very small, no sit in, and they could get the pizza there in 30 minutes because these people didn't have cars because they're going to university or shouldn't be driving because they're smoking weed. So that was Domino's market dominating position, and still works for them today. FedEx, when it just has to get there. And the most reliable. Well, now they've got lots of competitors too, but they're the first, so they're the leaders. I just heard this on the radio. I listened to a Toronto radio station, and I thought this was amazing. I was talking to a local dry cleaning owner, and he said, you know, the business now is of dry cleaning for people is way down because of COVID. You know, people aren't going to offices, they're not wearing suits as much, so their dry cleaning business is down. And this come out with specialized in luxury cleaning, and they were really hitting on specializing cleaning Canada Goose jackets. And this was from a fairly dry cleaners in Toronto. And with the, Canada Goose jackets are very, very popular, and they're very, very popular with the, especially the foreign communities that come to Canada, and it's, they're cold and that. So with a city like Toronto, I thought that was an excellent dominating position. And a local one that educating Atlantic Canada's cleaning professionals. And the thing with that is, that wasn't just their market down. We can't just put that on their website. The training that we do with this company of making them the professional cleaners, and some of the stuff that you wouldn't even think of that they do, and getting that to their customers. So what makes you stand out from your competitors? You hear a lot of fluff out there. People say friendly service, been in business for 50 years, family owned. Does the consumer, the customer, the business owner you're selling to really care about that? No, they care about what they have a problem that they want fixed, and you have a solution that can fix their problem. That's what economy is all about. So as you look at your own business, I can almost bet to a fault that your website looks like your competitors. And so then what happens is people that go out looking for the service, it becomes a price shopping at first. Once they get to know you and they become a loyal customer, that's one thing. But when your customer is finding you at first, they're looking at, different, if they're looking, let's say a flower shop, if they don't have any recommendation, they move to town, they go onto the web, they Google flower shops and they start calling around, see who's got the best price and that. So this is an example of a website where this doctor is specializing in 10 different things. And what happened when our company was working with him, we discovered that one thing was really, really important that he made most of his business from. So we put that as his market dominating position. So by doing a headline and a sub headline, are you sick and tired of yelling, screaming, belligerent to your child? Which that's what most of his business came from. So that became his market dominating position. And but the secret to it is, and I've got several customers I'm doing this with right now in New Brunswick, is everybody knows how many hits they get on their website, but you don't know who they are. By coming out with, be it a video, we just do lists. We have a company here that sells garage doors. That you can actually go into this site and actually build your garage door. So, but as soon as they go in, learn the secrets of gaining, maintaining control, whatever the headline is in that box, they put in their name and email address. Now you have their contact information. So this is a really leading edge as to how you then, I'm not going to go through this too much. But by doing this, now you're collecting their information. So this doctor's leads were through the roof. And the big thing was, because he was able to stay in contact with them and do what we call a drip campaign, he was able to keep adding to them to his list as he went along. So his conversion rate was, like, I don't know if you guys know your conversion rates. Some would be higher than others, and really a 20% conversion rate is considered pretty good. So, and that's on first touch. But as he, was able to keep growing it, he just kept growing his annual revenue. So this is where it comes down to, is the buyer's journey. So depending on the business you're in, people make different decisions when they're buying. So a future buyer is someone who is thinking about it. I think the best example of this is, what if we have a hot summer in September, people that don't have a pool, they can't get, it's tough for them to get it supplied that year if they've left it till July or August. So by taking them, and they decided in September, I'm going to go start looking at buying a pool. So they go to, because the buying public now is going to websites before they're going out shopping. And I do a lot of work in the RV business, and the customer comes into their lots. He already knows what he's looking for because he's done all his research and that. So it's basically, do you have this trailer and that? But for that pool person, so they go in September and they hit a bunch of websites, but they're not buying right now. So what happens is they hit 3 different websites and they get information from all 3. But the person who has this process, and we'll have tips on buying a pool, they're going to go into our data bank and we're going to send them an email campaign, maybe every day or every week for 4 weeks, and then every month, so that when they do decide to make that pool decision, who are they going to remember of those three people they looked at? Only you. Now, some items, typically, I mean, we use pizza before, or there is now buyers, they represent about 1%. If my car won't start and I need a tow truck to come here, I'm not a future buyer, soon to be buyer, I'm a now buyer. I need that right now. So, I mean, the website can go for there and the message on that, so. So this means that in the case of the doctor, from his looking at only 6 clients, 60 people opted in for his free information offer, 6 purchased, that means 54 did not. So by putting those 54 into a drip campaign, let's assume just 2 additional clients come out of that. But when you multiply that over a year and you started out with 54 people that didn't buy, and you knock that down to 32, you've sold another 22 customers into in his case, $800. So as you keep growing that, 300 prospects each month, that becomes 3,600. So it's a compounding growth that does that. So, and then he may even get to the point where you can hardly handle the business. And in that case, we hook him up with joint ventures and get other doctors to help him out, being driven through his website. So, any questions or comments at this point in time? Is there anybody here who does not have a website? Okay, I thought that would be the answer. Again, as I said, instead of finding out how many hits you have, how many people are actually talking or actually contacting or wanting. And it's not, they're asking for the free information. So as far as privacy, once they've done that, you're 100% safe to do that. So this, okay, I'm going to say, is anybody using email as a campaign for their customers?
Yeah, I think we are. We're using MailChimp to reach out.
Okay, perfect. Okay, this process, you're using MailChimp, is set up so that when they do hit in like that, it just automatically populates under MailChimp. And that's good. Anybody else?
I use Cyber Impact.
Okay. Email through Cyber Impact?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
We use email as well.
What's that?
I said we do email campaigns as well.
Who was that said that?
Oh, it's Heartbreak Boutique, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we use Constant Contact.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then how often would you send out an email campaign?
We're pretty infrequent with it. It's maybe 4 to 6 times a year.
Okay. Are you doing that event driven?
It's usually about a sale, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And when I say we, I mean me. I'm doing all of it. So that's why
yeah.
That's why it happens that infrequently.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's being consistent is the most important thing in that. So, and what happens when you do the email campaign for sales? Do you see?
Oh yeah, we see a spike in sales.
What's that?
We definitely see a spike in sales.
And do you see a spike with your regular customers or with your email customers or your, I'll call them bargain shop hunters?
No, there are regulars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we get a few new customers as well, like people who have, gone to the website, haven't ordered anything, but their email is in there.
Right.
So
Okay.
New customers that way too.
Yeah. So good. Anybody else using email campaigns?
We also use email campaigns through OmniSend.
Good. So about 25%. So that's about typical on that. So, and again, everybody's different. Everybody's doing Facebook, I assume?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Facebook is, there's nothing wrong, but you're speaking to a lot of people who aren't but prospects, where the email will be more directly at prospects. You know, if you're selling, you know, items for homes, for example, you know, if your customer list is people who are homeowners, there's lots of different things you can do that, you know, to talk to them about. So. And I mean, there's definitely work to it. Like, as you know, being consistent, building that list of contacts. Like MailChimp can make it so easy, and there's other programs out there, but that's one that I'm familiar with. So let's take an example of a radio ad. So Stone's Jewelry Store, it's just a fictitious jewelry store, is having a sale on engagement rings just in time for the Christmas season. Stone's has an excellent selection with the lowest quality. Excellent selection with the lowest quality price on quality diamonds. Stone's is a family-owned business that has been servicing the Anytown area for 55 years. Come on in and see one of our experienced and friendly customer service personnel. Check us out online at stonejewelers.com. Okay, what do you think of that ad, Beth?
It seems a little
A little what?
busy.
Busy? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Debbie?
I probably would, because they put the stonesjeweler.com, I'd probably look on there, and if I didn't see anything I liked, I wouldn't bother.
Okay. Kate? Maybe we've lost Kate for a minute because she said she was going to be doing some other things, and so Leona. Okay.
Sorry, I was having some lunch. I think it's too long and it doesn't get to the point. If you're having a sale, talk about the sale, not like you've been around for 55 years, because you know people are buying, not necessarily from one that's been in the area a long time, but you know, looking for the sales and product that they're looking for.
Exactly. Good point. Jay?
I would say that I'm not an expert on this, but are engagement rings only just in time for Christmas? Like, is that a Christmas present?
It's a popular time of year.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, yeah, just radio ads in general, to my knowledge, are typically sold in, you know, time chunks, your 15 seconds or your 30 seconds. So it's possible it's wordy, but if you have to fill out the time, then you have to fill out the time. So you might as well do that with information, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, true. And one of the things Stone's is going to like about this ad is that their name is said several times. So they're going to think it's a great ad. But how many times do you hear radio ads that are just mumbo jumbo? Now, and the other thing about when we promote people to use radio ads, or, you know, we don't promote what advertising media you want, but using radio as an example is, and you hit the nail right on the head there, talking about only the Christmas season. So there's two types of radio advertising. There's event, and then there's just, you know, promoting your company in general, so that you wouldn't talk about seasons. But that takes a bigger budget because it takes longer, and you're, you know, you have to be repetitive at it, doing it every month and that. So let's take the same jewelry store. Christmas is just around the corner and you're heading to visit your special girl's family. Imagine your popularity when you put on that shiny new ring on her finger, seeing the smile on her face, which you'll not be able to wipe off for the entire season. We have just what you need for your personal budget. One of our diamond experts will make it easy for you. Stone's Jewelers, www.stonesjewelers.com, and phone number. Comments on that ad?
I think that that's a little bit better because it's personalized. There's a lots of you know, you are heading to visit your, like, it's kind of focused at the person. And again, advertising's not my big thing, but I would say that that's probably, it probably hits people a little bit closer to home as opposed to just general, hey, we've been in business for 55 years. Why don't you come see our staff?
Good point. Because do they carry your business in 55 years? Most
No,
people-
not likely. Although, I don't know, like our business has been around since 1876 or something, but I don't think that people are here because of that. Like that's kind of an irrelevant point.
Yeah, because you're fixing the problem they have that they don't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, that's so bang on right. But when you listen to the radio, two things are wrong with radio for people that don't put good thought into it. Is the ad is all about them and not the customer. There's a local farm equipment dealer here in Kings County that they had a radio ad and they said their name 9 times. There was hardly room to talk about what the product was they were selling. But I'm betting that owner probably was pretty proud of that ad when he heard the newspaper or the radio advertiser go back to him and say, you know, here's your radio ad because it had said their name. So what is it about the customer? So we want the ad to be about the story, about going to visit the girl's family, and then Stone's Jewelers just comes in at the end. And that, because, you know, somebody had said, well, I'm going to go to their website and look at it, which is what people do. So that's where encompasses, everybody goes to a website now pretty much before they go shopping. They may not, if you're a regular shopper, like at Kate's store, that they're, you know, they're going in to see what's new. And, but when someone is buying something new for the first time or looking and we got to look at this, that our population now is coming, so much new people moving into the area that these people don't know Llewellyn's has been around since the 1800s, nor do they care. They have a problem they want and they want it fixed. So that's just how you're doing the advertising. So your story and your message should, you know, be remarkable, should stand out. It's not the same as your competitors. That's the biggest thing. I don't know if some people build their website when they start their business by going and looking at other people's websites and say, okay, I'll get one like that. And that, or how do they stand out special? Forgetting who was it that was in the insurance business here?
That would be me,
And what was your name again?
Tina.
No. Okay. So we have 2 Tinas on here. Cool.
Oh, I think the Tina F is me as well.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
you
sure
as
why
well.
that's
Oh, you're on here twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on there
Okay.
twice.
Okay, cool.
Just make sure I don't miss anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So make sure you charge your double, Carol. So insurance is a very price sensitive business, I would expect.
It certainly is.
Yeah. And do
Yeah.
people, and I'm going to bet you have some people who you send them their bill every year and they just pay it and that's it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's correct.
And then you have other people that call every year 6 insurance companies to see if they can get a better rate.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though you sell Aviva, or, you know, a lot of the companies are the same from broker to broker.
Yeah, they pretty much are. There are a few companies that have different rates and different discounts that would make it a little bit different, but
Right.
they're pretty much all around the same.
Pretty much all around the same. So how do you,
Mhm.
so that's a really important place to have a website that says, wow, this is a different insurance company. So
Exactly.
that's just an example. It doesn't matter, insurance, chiropractors, lawyers, you go and look 6 different websites, they're all the same. So that it becomes, where am I going to get a better price? But if you can say things that are going to you know, make your company remarkable, that's the secret behind good marketing.
Exactly. And so, which is why I'm kind of here trying to pick up different little tips.
Right, exactly. So here's, well, I'd say 2 great books. Has anybody here read The E-Myth?
No.
Really? Okay. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber has been around for a long time. It's one of the first books that I read and started my business in 1999, and it's still on every bookstore shelf here in St. John to this day. And what it is, it's about tips on owning a small business. And he has a story about a baker that bakes pies, and the kind of the theme behind the whole book is, are you working in your business or on your business? And I, use the pie maker that is so busy making pies, she's not marketing her company. And so, what is can she get somebody else to make the pies just as good, or at least spend some time? Because you take the auto mechanic who starts a auto repair business, and he's still a mechanic who's running the business, who's growing his business. So, so he ends up he's doing a $25 an hour job, and nobody's really growing the business. So that's an excellent book for small business owners. As a matter of fact, when I started my business through the company I joined as a distributor, it was, this is your number one thing the first week is to read this book. And I've read it a couple of times since. So. And I actually listened to a lot of Michael Gerber's tapes. Building a Story Brand, we talk about story by Donald Miller, another great book. And The Secret Formula of The Wizard of Ads by Roy Williams is amazing. And so I'm going to stop this share for a second. I'm going to bring in another one. Well, I was going to try to. Okay. Guess that's not going to work. Okay, I'll bring this up. Okay, here we go. Bear with me a second. Okay, so can you folks see a website? Profit Acceleration Simulator?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. We're just going to use an average here. This is we have as a complete software program, and this is kind of give you an example of it as to how you can look at your company. And I'm going to assume everybody that's here is looking at growth, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't thinking about that. So, and getting some ideas. So we're going to use an example of $500,000 business with a 50% profit margin, net profit of 20 in Canadian currency, of course. So that means that this business is going to create a profit of $100,000. So what if we increase that? Okay. We look at 12 areas. Does anybody here believe they could not cut their costs by 2%? If you created a market dominating position, do you think you could grow your business by 2%? Anybody here don't believe they could? With that market dominating position and at a compelling offer, could you increase your business by 2% more? Anybody believe they could not? Is there anybody here could not increase their prices by 2%?
I would worry about increasing my prices by 2%.
Who said that?
Julie.
Julie, what's your business?
I own the escape room on the east side.
Okay.
I mean, I've always worried about increasing prices and what it's going to do if I increase my prices, I guess.
Okay.
It's one of those things that scares me.
And why does it scare you?
Because I guess, I don't know, I know St. John people are price sensitive.
Do you believe that?
I mean, everybody, especially right now, like everybody's struggling. Well, not everybody, but a large percentage of people are struggling. So, and I feel like, I don't know, I guess it's just one of those things for me. I worry about it because it's, if you want to go to the escape room and you also want to go out for supper and then meet your friends and go to the escape room, you know, it's going to be an expensive night out if I keep putting my prices up. It's been suggested to me to put my prices up post-COVID, I guess, and I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
A lot of other escape rooms in the country have put their prices up. And yeah, I guess I'm just still trying not to.
Okay. What percentage of people buy that their only buying criteria is price? Anybody care to guess? 23%. Most, so that means the good thing about that is 77% buy for other reasons. And so, okay. Anybody else who believes they could not increase their prices by 2%? Okay. If you had an upsell and a cross sell, could you increase your prices by 2%? Bundling is another thing that we look at, is when you're doing that. You know, I worked in the men's clothing business for a while, and a person came in to buy a suit. Some salespeople were excited to sell the gentleman a suit, where when he walked out of the dressing room for me, I also had his suit there with a duplicate of a suit with a shirt and tie. And you know, the guy would say, you know what? He said, why would I buy a new suit and not get a new shirt and tie? So, you know, he's up the sale another $300. So a downsell process is where you have another offering that may be a lower priced, and we could talk to you about that with the escape room, looking at that as an option. Additional products and services, the drip campaign, definitely easy. Most of these, a lot of these you can do by more than 2%, and some you might not do. You may choose not to increase prices, but alliances and joint ventures, that works great. Digital marketing, looking at increasing your digital marketing. Is there anybody here could not see a 2% increase in their digital marketing with some ideas? Maybe some of which you got today. Okay, so let's just, because of the algorithms, it's about 500 million algorithms in the program, is by increasing just 2% in all these areas and compounding. And that's just an average, because market dominating position usually runs 5 to 10% if you get the right message out there. So that means your business can increase in revenue by $121,000. And the impact on profit is even greater, because you know, you're recovering your fixed overhead expenses in the first part. So all this extra margin here that you're earning now is all additional profit, because the only real extra cost you could have in this by increasing sales this much is if you pay commission. Because I mean, you're still going to have the same amount of trucks and your rent's going to stay the same, but if you're paying commission, then it will go up somewhat. So, okay, I'm just going to stop the share again. Share again, and we'll come back to our PowerPoint. So, okay, everybody can see the PowerPoint back again? Somebody? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Adam. Okay. So the question is, are you thinking big enough? Now, one of the offers, Carol, did you put that out about the offer for each one of them to get a business makeover, for a personal business makeover, or was that not able to go into the
No, I was going to mention that to them.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So you're going to get a copy of this. So this is You can actually, the simulator, just atlanticbusinessacademy.com simulator, and you could actually do your own numbers there. So that's kind of interesting. But what we do is we have a strategic program where we do each company to their numbers, and we look at exactly where it can work in their areas and that. So and as I mentioned to Carol, that is about an $800 value. I'm going to offer that free for everyone here today. So Carol, you'll send me the list of the people?
Yes, I will.
Okay, perfect. The other thing is too, it's about an hour-long video, atlanticbusinessacademy.com, wrong. And it's about marketing, what you've probably been doing wrong, and that from the aspect of some of the marketing in the past. Not everything you're doing wrong, or you wouldn't be in business, but just some ideas, and that it's well worth the hour of watching that. And okay, so I've left some time here now for questions, comments, anything that you might want a little bit of more information on. Just speak up. We won't go in any order.
I guess with my business, like we're big brothers, big sisters, so we're non-profit. Would raising the prices like 2% for some of our events still work the same way, do you think?
What is your average price?
Well, like everything kind of varies, but one of our
Give me an example then.
So our, like if we do our big book sale, usually a book is like $1.50 or $2, depending on like what size the book is.
Okay. So how many more books would you sell if they were $2.20? How many less books would you sell if they were $2.20?
See, I don't know if that would really make it, like I don't know how that would go. Honestly, it's like what we do is we put it all out on like a big table, I guess, out in a big space, and people, it's like a yard sale type deal. So I imagine like I don't know if it would be a big decrease or not.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to look at. Like, let's say a Big Mac's, somebody loves Big Mac's and they're $5 and they go up by 5% to $5.25. Does the person go into McDonald's and find out the burger's 25 cents more? Do they leave?
Not necessarily, no.
Not likely, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's in some cases you have to give it a try and see. And
right.
So I mean, I guess the only thing in your case that'd be a little trickier is it's easy when you're doing for the people selling it, doing the change aspect of it, $2, you just take the toonie and they go. You could start getting into the $2.20. But how many books do you sell typically in that sale?
Probably like 10,000 books or something. Like it's a lot.
So that'd be $1,000 extra profit by raising your prices 10%.
Okay.
So that's what you got to look at and say, okay. And so you look at it that way, you could sell 1,000 divided by 2. You could sell 500 less books and make the same money.
Okay.
Well, you look at it that way, what's the likelihood of that happening?
Not very likely.
Not very likely. So there you go. So,
Awesome.
okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Beth, can you raise your prices 10%?
Yes,
There you go.
we just went through this, and so I know we do this almost every year.
Right. And nobody says anything.
Well, and if you don't lose a few customers, you probably didn't push it quite far enough.
Yeah, that's right. Should have been 20%.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And although your business today with the price of fuel must be kind of
The price of
challenging.
fuel and the price of repairs and everything seems to be just skyrocketing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So is there anybody who would not want to go through this exercise I'm offering to do for you? Okay, perfect. So Carol will send me the list. Any other questions at this point? So I will be in touch with all of you. As I say, there's absolutely, it takes about 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to do it. I'll let you guys make the choice if you want to do it at a face-to-face or by Zoom, entirely up to you. And we'll go from there. Okay.
Well,
Thank
great.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at
Thank
all.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody
Thank
have a
you so
great
much.
day.
Thank you.
Great day.